Good evening. It's the 8th of May 2026, and it's Graham Healy from Integrated Combat Solutions, previously Commander Krav Maga, and I was in the background, and I'll explain this. In the background, you can see there's myself, Sonny Ryan, and Grandmaster Yun Q Yun. Now, I was one of the original founding instructors of Yun Jun Do. So there we are there. Yun Jun Do, printed in 1990. We were, in full-time training in the 80s. And there I am here. These were nationwide posters, by the way. And I established Yun Jun Do and the ITF Taekwondo in Townsville, but Yun Jun Do, and I'll explain that to you in a second. Just giving you a bit of past, present, future. Everything I say is a complete truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God. So other people will try and say other things, but I've got the photographic history and references all the way along. So you can see there was four of us there, Grandmaster Yun, there's myself, Sonny Ryan, and Roy Tapuni. Now, we were the original instructors, and there's certain people I don't recognise because they haven't got any integrity, so you can figure out who those people are. There's some historical photographs. There's me giving a complete overview of my background and history. Grandmaster Yun doing a sidekick, which was actually posted onto me by Grandmaster Paul McPhail, who's now, I think he's at least an 8th Dan in the ITF. And my other associate is Grandmaster Peter Wong, who's 7th or 8th Dan in the ITF these days. So as we go back to here, a lot of people don't understand this, but when I say that I'm a founding instructor of Yun Jun Do, I say that with full authority. The trouble is in martial arts that people all try and, backstab each other and all this sort of thing, but the historical facts are the historical facts. I've got videos, I've got national advertising that was done when I was the first instructor, or, we were the founding instructors. And the way I say we were the founding instructors is we put money into Yun Jun Do. Each one of us at this particular time was about 1988 or so. Each one of us put in $5,000 each, including the Grand Master. There's another character that I don't represent anymore because I don't recognise him, but 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. There was Roy Tapuni, about $25,000. That was in the mid-80s, and we didn't have a lot of money. So we financially started Yun Jun Do. No question, no ifs and buts or maybes. And it doesn't really matter what evolved after that. We were the founding instructors. And also I can remember, it's all on record, doing demonstrations at the Korean cultural festivals and all these sort of things. Here's videotape evidence, and you'll see me doing television interviews. Here's the purest spirits and all the rest of it. I actually designed the original brochures, or contributed to most of what was written in them. And here's myself being interviewed on Channel 7 News. None of the other instructors. You will never see any of this with any of the other instructors. See which one's been interviewed on the local news station. And I did this back in the 80s, right? So without doubt, and then you can go through and have a look at the jumping kicks and all that sort of stuff. And, so what basically happened, just to give you a bit of background, so that you understand where I'm coming from. I'm a person who sticks by integrity, full stop, end of story. And if someone is involved with me that hasn't got integrity, well, I cut them loose really quickly. And unfortunately, there were some characters, including some so-called instructors from Yun Jun Do that I disassociated with because, and on the record too, and I've got all the written evidence. But, people don't want to know that, but I know it, right? So the past, present, future thing is, one, I started off in boxing with my father, Bert Healy, and my grandfather's a professional boxing coach. I then joined Chongchul Ri This is all on my websites, but I'm just giving you a quick overview just so you can see who I am. And I spent 7 years with Chong Chul, which is one of the original Taekwondo instructors in Australia. Then I joined Yun Kyu Yun here. Yun Kyu Yun was unhappy with the ITF because they were involved with North Korea, the old communists. So, and General Choi was born in North Korea, so there was all these politics going on, which, I wasn't interested in really. And Grandmaster Yun spent a lot of time with me, and more time than anyone else, actually. And then he continually visited Townsville, where I had a massive gym up there with 2,000 members. And he was continually talking to me about basically leaving the ITF. Many Chinese dinners, and we'd go out. Like when he'd come up to Townsville, I'd spend the whole weekend with him. Other instructors who were in the ITF in New Zealand said all they ever saw was about half an hour of him doing gradings. I spent more time with the Grandmaster than anyone else, basically. So that's the reality for all those would-bes, if they could-bes out there. And so he asked me to be one of the original instructors. I say founding instructors because we all put money in. We had shareholdings in everything, right? And whether people admit it or not, that's the facts. So in about 1988 or so, I left everything I was doing in Townsville and I came down and spent just over 3 months full time, sleeping on the dojo floor and being trained personally by the Grandmaster Yun. Now, irrespective of what anyone else says, that's the facts. There is no one that has done that sort of one-to-one training with the Grandmaster. End of story. So the only other person, I recognise Sonny Ryan and, of course, Roy Tapuni, which was a very loyal person. And the other person I recognise, even though he was second generation, but I recognise him as one of the founding instructors, is Latu Longa. Latu is a good friend of mine in New Zealand. Anyone else that claims whatever they claim, I personally don't recognise them. And I'm a fully qualified eighth Dan, and I've got several other qualifications, including med science degrees and what have you. See, my thing was that in martial arts, it's a bit of a backstabbing game in martial arts where various masters, and not excluding Grandmaster Yun, but Ree and all the rest of them, if you resign from the school, they don't recognise you. So you might have spent 10 years doing everything, and then suddenly you got your black belts, you got all your qualifications, and when you resign from the school, they don't recognise you. Well, the thing is, for me, I'm at the level now where, I'm 71 this year. I don't recognise other people. And the reason is they don't deserve recognition. So as far as recognising people, one, you've got to look at what their background is. Is it actually valid? And secondly, are they qualified sports coaching wise and all of that to teach others? Now, you can have a look at all my websites. I've got medical science degrees, 6 years at university, masters in dry needling. I've got sports coaching qualifications. I've got TAF teacher qualifications. I've got every qualification you can possibly think of. And I did that because all the backbiting and all the sort of stuff in martial arts that goes on. So that's a little bit of background. So be rest assured, if anyone out there says, oh, Graham Healy, what is he in Yun Jun Do? Well, I'm telling you, whoever says that to you, let them call me up or front me face to face, and I'll see how good they are in that respect. So the thing is, historically speaking, I was one of the founding instructors of Yun Jun Do. So how it happens is there was International Taekwondo Federation under General Choi, or Che, some people say that. I always say General Choi, who was the founder of ITF Taekwondo. That's where it all started. Then Grandmaster Yun personally asked me to be a founding instructor with Yun Jun Do, and I became a founding instructor, full-time instructor, the first international instructor to Papua New Guinea, the military base in Papua New Guinea, along with Sonny Ryan. So John Cholai, who's now one of the head guys in the WTF or something, he's still in New Guinea there, really good bloke. and know him quite well. So that's that past background. Now, where are we going now? In 2026, where are we evolving now? Now, I've officially resigned twice from Yun Jun Do. About 6 years ago, the Grandmaster rang me and then wanted me to restart Yun Jun Do and all the rest of it. I did that, but you know what? Unfortunately for me, I'm a person who evolves very quickly in what I do. I'm very thorough. I'm very educated too, actually. I'm no idiot. So, unlike some people who just accept anything and don't question it, I'm always been a questioning sort of person. And so in the background, the Grandmaster rang me and said that, I started the International Self-Defence Association and all this sort of stuff. So I started bodies for self-defence and all this that no one else even thought of. And he was a little bit narky on that because if you know anything about martial arts, especially Oriental masters, they want you to remain with them for the rest of your natural life, and it just doesn't work like that in the real world. So, long story short, I spent another, I think it was 3 or 4 years trying to re-establish Yun Jun Do when it was right in the middle of the pandemic, and it was just a difficult exercise. And I found that I was just winding back the clock and going back into the past, and I resigned accordingly. There was some more to that story, but I don't want to go into the negative stuff. There were certain people that the Grandmaster was associating with that I would never associate with in a million years. So I decided to separate myself from all that. Okay, so where are we now? On the 8th of May, 2026. Well, I'll tell you where we are now. We'll just go through my website. And this is the website, the Integrated Combat Solutions or integrated, let's call it Integrated Combat Solutions. So where have I evolved to? Well, over the years, see, I was not a greenhorn starting martial arts. I started martial arts around the Bruce Lee era, and I was formerly quite an accomplished boxer. Now, even the Grandmaster's written references to that, so he can't deny it, right? So what happens is these characters, when you resign, they try and wipe your name off every record, wipe all the photographs off, pretend you never existed, pretend you weren't born or something. It's just ridiculous. I've been through that twice, one with Zhongzhou and then with Grandmaster Yun, but, you can forget that. History's history, facts are facts. So, when I started in boxing, I then joined ITF Taekwondo under Chong Chul Ri at the time, and Chong Chul left the ITF. Big story there, won't bother going into. Then out of that, I was dealing with quite an arrogant senior instructor, so I resigned, caused a bit of kerfuffle, actually quite a big kerfuffle. They lost 100 students to me, the old Ri Taekwondo, and then I joined with Grandmaster Yun, who was with the ITF at that time. He was the actual chairman of Technique Worldwide. I formed a very good relationship with him. And then he decided that he was going to form his own art or his own martial art called Yun Jun Do. And he personally asked me to be one of the founding instructors. He calls him the first instructor. I call him the founding instructors because we all put money into it and we were the number one, right? So I established Yun Jun Do along with the other people that there was actually 3 or 4 of us there. And we trained full time under the Grandmaster, and he was training with us 4 hours a day. So, all these would-be's if the could-be's, they don't even know what it was like training with Grandmaster Yun. I did it full time. So all these other characters that have come on lately with Yun Jun Do out of the woodwork and all this, you guys never trained personally with the Grandmaster, even in the ITF. Rarely did anyone train personally. They went to gradings, but not. I don't know of anyone who trained one-on-one with the Grandmaster personally, except the group that I established Yun Jun Do. Latu did as well. Latu Leong trained personally with the Grandmaster. I mean, I'm not talking seminars. These characters in martial arts do a seminar with Bill Wallace or Benny the Jet, for an hour and then claim everything. I'm talking full time. I'm talking 24/7. I'm talking living in the dojo, cold showers in winter, all the rest of it. I've done that, right? So, to those who want to try and basically not recognise what I did, well, the point is I don't recognise you, okay? So very importantly, at the top of a school is who recognises who. Now, I'm qualified to do the recognition these days, not only academically, but martial art wise. A fully bona fide eighth Dan. That eighth Dan is already countersigned by Grandmaster Peter Wong, who is still in the ITF. I think he's an eighth Dan in the ITF now. I sort of speak to Peter occasionally. And I've got references from Grandmaster Paul McPhail, who's probably one of the best ITF technicians I've ever seen. It's just unreal. I learned how to do a proper back kick off Grandmaster Paul McPhail. So where are we now? Where I'm now, and this year, is I developed my system years ago. I just, got lost in memory lane with the Grandmaster when he rang me up about 5 years ago, and I just had to resign again. It's like, no disrespect, but it's like switching the clock back 20 years. I'd been there and done that, got the T-shirt, and moved on. So what I'm doing now is this: I'm merging the Healy's boxing skills and drills, the Commando Krav Maga skills and drills, and the Taekwondo / Yun Jun-Do / kickboxing kicks and skills and drills, which I had Jason White taking many seminars with us and training with us. I actually recognise Jason White to fourth Dan or something, as I recall. He had over 200 kickboxing fights, one of the best kickboxers I'd ever seen, only about 9.5 stone, and he could take anyone out. So he taught us a lot regarding the kickboxing. So where are we now? This is, if you join with Healy's Integrated Combat Solutions, this is what you'll get. Let me go through this a little bit. This is how it works now. Just one moment. Yeah, is that there? Oh, here's some memorabilia photographs. Yeah, anyway, I want to go through those. Oh, yeah. So there's Healy's Integrated Self-Defense Academy, Master Graham Healy. I've actually got a 9th Dan certificate recognised in the US, but the 8th Dan's recognised by the Peter Wong, who's a master in the ITF. Countersigned, that is. You've got to get these things countersigned, otherwise it's, he's not an 8th Dan, he's not this, he's not that. You basically can go jump in the lake because I've got the paperwork. Just like I've got the paperwork as a Bachelor of Science, Medical Science. I've got that paperwork too in case you want to have a look at it, with all who's qualified to do what. So in this, my system's simply like this. I'm keeping it simple. Are you going to have to do patterns? No, you don't have to do patterns. Patterns, I find historically they're okay. But the thing is, patterns, can you defend yourself with a pattern? And the answer is absolutely not. Sure, there's some coordination and all that you can learn through patterns. But am I doing patterns? And the answer is, I can still do the Yun Jun-Do patterns. I can't. If I look at the ITF ones, I can remember them. But, just it's too difficult remembering all those different moves. You just want to get to the basics. So this is what we're doing. Whether it be juniors from 13 years above or seniors or personal training, I'm doing the skills and drills. In other words, when you engage with me as a master instructor teaching you or a small group, and I've got a certain way I do it these days, we will teach you skills and drills. The skills and drills on the kicks, the basic kicks, front turning, back, side, reverse turning, all that. The boxing techniques, because there's a lot of skills in boxing, and the unarmed combat techniques, open hand techniques. And what I do is I merge them together so that you can use, whether it be boxing, whether it be commando training, or whether it be the kicks and the counters to the kicks, I've got a totally integrated system. And then to keep it simple, see, the martial arts world, they are so complicated. I mean, it's so bureaucratic. They've increased the bureaucracy, so you take forever to get a belt, and you learn about one thing. Just ridiculous. So, my system is you go from yellow to green to blue to red to black. That might take you, depending on your training, it might take you to our standard black belt, I'd say about 2 years, maybe 3, but 2 if you're training a lot. Now, how I do it these days is simply like this. I run master classes, and then I run workshops. So I run maybe a master class once a week, or personal training. Then I load a lot of stuff online so that you can practice at home online. So online's the thing, right? Now, as I say, for me, look, I'm 71 this year, so I'm not going to be doing 4 classes or 5 classes a week like we used to. I do 1 class a week, and I teach you a lot in like a 2-hour class, not 1.5 hour, stretching it out and all this. I'm teaching you technically what to do, and then every 4 to 6 weeks, we will have like a master workshop where we consolidate. So once a week, then consolidate. Once a week, then we consolidate. The rest of the time, you can practice. You can either get personal training if you want to, or you can go online and practice the techniques, see online and practice at home. Because most of my training, to be quite frank, my key training, whether it was in boxing or Taekwondo or Yun Jun Do or commando training, sure, I did a bit of class stuff, but most of my consolidation was on my own, on the punching bag, boom, 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 perfecting thousands of techniques. And I'm telling you, that is the way to get better. Now, how do I grade people? Well, I'm not going to put you through a whole lot of bureaucratic BS. What I'm going to do is, if you have the skills according to what I see and require, you will be graded by me looking at you. Okay, so there's certain things we do, partner training, and like there's a series of modules that I have, and if you can complete those modules, then you'll go from yellow belt to green belt to blue, and you could double grade. But with my system, there's no patterns involved. There's only skills and drills. So you've got to know how to do 3 straight lefts and a right cross and a left hook or something, or you've got to know how to do left, right, front kick. To my satisfaction, with a partner, non-contact. See, people think you've got to be hitting people. No, you don't. You can hit the bag, you can hit focus mitts, you can do all that. I'm not into bashing people. We're doing self-defense, and the sort of self-defense I do, I'm telling you right on this video that, I've done a lot of things in the real world, including armed robbery defences and things like that. So I'm telling you, I know what reality is all about. And you do not have to get hurt to learn what I call the instantaneous counterattacks. Now, if you see that system there, and I'll finish off on this, and I won't take this too long. You see that there? Instantaneous counterattacks. So, that's me in the commando side of things. I used to run the classes or seminars Australia-wide, actually. I've done that in 2028, I think it was. Now, I can show you how to disarm someone with 1 or 2 techniques. The original martial arts masters, such as Chong Chul Ri, who's passed away, and even Grandmaster Yun in his earlier years, even his later years, 1 hit, they'd stop anyone with 1 hit. 1 hit, or as General Choi used to say, il pok pil sal. Il pok pil sal. Those who know Korean know what that means. 1 hit must stop, or 1 hit must terminate them, right? So the whole mindset of real self-defense is building up to the focus and the ability to stop hit an attacker. And you do that all in safety. Yeah, I'm not, as I say, I'm not getting people into competitions or anything like that, because you're learning self-defense. So the targets you're using are vital points. and I'll go into that in more detail when I mention this online. But I've, in my background, and I'll tell you now, I can stop anyone with one hit, and I have done many times, and controlled. So that's what you learn, and you've got to learn what I call Criminal Code 1899, which most martial arts instructors wouldn't even know what that is. That's the law in Australia of proportionate defence. So you cannot, if you're defending yourself in a real situation, you can only use proportionate defence, otherwise you become the criminal, right? I'm aware of all this. I was actually booked in to be a lawyer as well. I might still do that. You know, I'm one of those characters that I always keep educating myself in the background. Actually, I think I probably will, maybe not this year, but the next year I'll do law as well, just to put that little notch in my belt as well. Not only martial arts, med science and all the rest of it. So with me, you get the total package. You get someone who has had 50 years in self-defense training, someone who's had all the sports coaching qualifications, someone who's got medical science degrees, someone who is potentially going to have a law degree shortly as well. So you've got someone who can give you a big picture with real experience. My associates, are in high-level security. And as a matter of fact, as I kick on the Integrated Combat Solutions this year and going into next year, there will be probably one or two other people that I will have with my board, so to speak. One was a former bodyguard of the Filipino president. I won't mention his name just yet. And definitely be the other one that will be one of my consultants at large or on the board or whatever, would be Latu Leonga. And I haven't asked him yet, but he always comes to mind because we're really good mates. Yeah, that'll be it. So that's the story, and I hope that gives you some idea. And if you're interested in learning what the Healy's Integrated Combat Solutions is about, it's all safe. You know, I'm teaching technique these days, nothing to prove. I've done all that before, no egos or anything like that. And we just go through methodically and learn to do the techniques correctly. And, you may do stuff better than I do. I mean, at 71, I'm sort of, supposedly to be retired, but I'll never retire. So, okay, that's Graham Healy over and out. I hope that you understand, gives you a bit of past, present, future, gives you some perspective on what I've done in the past. You can see all that on the websites. And, I can give you like quality instruction, which I guarantee you're not going to get anywhere else. Okay, Graham Healy over and out. Thanks for listening, and I hope to hear from you soon. And, as I go through all this, I will evolve the system. I'm going to revise some of the website, make it a lot simpler. So it'll just go down, as I say, the integrated system where I've got down the bottom here somewhere. Where is it? I haven't put it on there yet, but yeah, I'll just refresh it and see if it does that. I'll finish off on this, if you can see it, just coming through now. Will it come through? Yes, just at the bottom. Just one moment. Thanks for your patience. Is it coming through? No, it's not coming through. But anyway, basically, it's the integrated boxing, kicking, and commando system. That's what I meant to say. Here it is up here. Integrated boxing, kicks, and commando. So the integrity of mind, body, spirit is our core principle. I do not, under any circumstances, associate or recognise people with no integrity. And there's a few of them. So I don't want you involved with them either. So integrated boxing, kicks and commando, and I can stand on my own qualifications as a master in my own right. Graham Healy over and out. Hope that helps, and look forward to hearing from you soon. Have a great night.